All right, we're continue working on the wagon. Got all the fluids drained, got the drive shaft out, exhaust, all this. I still got to pull the headers, which are really easy. They're on studs, there's nothing in the way, and you can literally unbolt them and pull them right out the top because that's the way I designed it. But the big news, the big elephant in the room is look, my plasma table is gone. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me grab my chair over here. Okay, so let's talk about the plasma table. I got a Torchmate. This was a Torchmate plasma table we had. I bought this guy a long time ago, boys and girls. So let's go back. Let's go back in the Wayback Machine. Go way back in the time machine. The year, I don't know. It has to be somewhere between 2007 and 2009, I'm guessing. And I have a turbo Honda E7 in the Army. I think I get paid, I don't know, maybe a couple $1,000 a month, maybe $3,000 a month. Not a lot of money. And yeah, that was the thing, is I knew how to do quite a bit of things. Like I could kind of weld, I could, do an engine, most of the things any of you guys could do, just from reading books and magazines and whatnot. So it was bugging me because I was in the Army and I was poor. So people don't realize, it's funny, people don't realize how poor they are. Yeah. And you can really get conditioned to living off of next to nothing. So yeah, I was amazed how poor I was when I was in the Army. But anyway, every bracket I needed for my cars and stuff to build would cost like $20, and then another $5 shipping. Well, it doesn't seem much nowadays, but inflation's probably twice as much as then. So I would guess that they're talking like $50-$60 every time I needed a piece of metal. And I don't want to say the internet was young, but information was just kind of first flowing out there. And it was the first time in my life, really, I knew that there was a machine that could just CNC cut objects. I knew there was stuff before. It just existed, but I didn't understand and whatever. You guys get it. But it was the first time I saw it in a magazine. I think it was called Plasma Cam or something like this. And I knew like right away, like, oh, this thing could save me a lot of money making pieces and parts, because I'm losing a fortune. Once I did some research on what some sheet metal cost. So yeah, it was a big investment. I think the table was a couple grand, the plasma cutter a couple grand, another grand for software and incidentals, a computer. You had to build a water table. I made a water table out of aluminum, so the whole thing was kind of pricey. I want to say it was probably like 11 grand at a time when I made probably 50-60 grand a year. So it was a good chunk of change, and I did it pretty much all on credit cards, I think. But it caused all kinds of strife, I guess, consternation at home, because it was a lot of money, and I really didn't know what to do with it. Like, I bought it and I knew, like, hey, this thing can make money. It's pretty, like, this is a money-making machine. I just haven't figured out. It was like step 1, collect underpants. Step 3, profit. I was there. I just didn't know what step 2 was. And then it came. I bought it, had it, went around a little bit. The Facebook got popular, and I was posting on there. Some people reached out and said, hey, can you do this? And I was like, I think I can. I think I can make one of these little exotic. Let me grab, do I have any just laying around? I threw them all out. I was so excited that I'm not doing this anymore. I chucked them all outside. So, but yeah, you guys know the little things that just go around the exhaust holes. And we started selling those for like $15 each. I could buy a sheet of stainless steel out of a supplier in St. Louis, because I was still in the Army. I was at Fort Leonard Wood, which is in what is it called? Waynesville, I think. Waynesville, St. Robert, Missouri. So we did that, and I could buy a sheet and flip it, and I'd make a couple $100 every time when I say sheet, I mean a 2-foot by 4-foot sheet. Couldn't afford metal. Metal is still really super expensive for me. So yeah, so we started doing that. A good friend, Sam, asked me if I could do it, and I said, I think I can. I wasn't really sure how to do it, but we worked it all out, which is honestly kind of the same technique I've been using for a decade now. I don't know how much money I've made off of exhaust rings, but it hasn't been bad for me. That being said, it's one of those deals where it helped me grow the company. It gave me the capital that I needed to reinvest in other things that weren't so labor intensive. And I still like doing it. I still like making those exhaust rings. It can be frustrating. The machine's old. It's a decade now. It needs to be replaced. But that's all right. It's all right. We make enough money off of other stuff that I don't necessarily need that income. And the frustration was just the work and the time that it takes. I can do much more productive work and the time that it takes to make those guys, but it's still good. So I have a friend that was a Marine. He lives close, and we just like, hey, dude, how about I don't want to do this anymore, but I don't want to give it up because it's kind of what brought Monkey Fab into being in the first place. And maybe you can do it on the side. It's only a couple hours a day of work, and pretty decent rewards. So he's doing that. So he came over and he got the machine and all the stuff, and we're going to be able to keep that on the site, still do exhaust rings for you guys, and I hope that he's able to branch out and do what I've done and make himself financially stable for himself and his family, most importantly, and then help other people, because I think that it can be contagious, and if you bring in good people to your little pack of homies, good things happen. You just watch out for each other. So that's the story of the plasma table. It's gonna go. It's leaving, moving about an hour away from Monkey Fab. And it's going to get a new home, and it's still going to be in business and still being productive for my friend and his family and whatever they do with it. So the point of this whole story is just to say, use your money wisely. Like, it's tough. It's tough for a young man. It's trying to make it in the world and get noticed, and I totally get that. I spent so much money on stupid shit. It was fun. I wouldn't want to take it back. All my little hot rods that I bought to try to impress people I don't know. Never really worked out, but I always enjoyed them. For a little while anyway. And you got to keep that in mind when you're spending the money that you've worked for. That you want to live, right? You don't want to get to the end of this thing and have been such a miser that you didn't live or enjoy life, but you also have to find the right balance between using that money wisely so that you can be better off in the future and experience even better things in the future. So it took me a long time. I had to become an old man to realize, buy tools, don't buy stupid shit to impress people that you don't know. But that's the theme. Go buy tools, have faith in yourself. That was the other thing. What was kind of funny, it was just kind of how many people try to keep you down, and how many people. It doesn't cost a person anything to say shitty things or try to rip you down. And I've come to find out that that's mostly just to do with it's mostly envy. It's an envy thing where people, see somebody. I do it. I don't want to act like I'm above this. I'll see a guy in a Ferrari, and I'm instantly rife with envy and hate. And then I try to grab myself and get control and be like, hey, good for them. Or maybe I'll say, like, we probably just rented it. Anything to make myself feel better. But yeah, you got to get control on that stuff. It's really toxic. And have faith in yourself. If I quit every time some moron popped up on my Facebook feed line, or somebody in real life didn't understand what I was doing or have faith in me, or maybe they're just like crabs in a bucket, they're miserable and they want to pull you back in to their misery. These things happen, and you just got to be aware of it. It's out there. People have faults, and it's very human. But Also understand, like, your friends don't necessarily, when we communicate, rarely what we intend to communicate is understood how we planned it to be, how we intended it to be. So communications are hard, and best thing you can do for your friend is, if they got an idea, slap them on the back. Tell them that sounds great, even if you don't understand it, and launch them, but let them know, hey, you're on your own, buddy, because that's okay. It's okay to be out there and be on your own. I don't mind that. Like, it would have been, it's nice for the few people that were like, you can do this, or encourage, doesn't like, you can do it, just like, just didn't talk shit on you every time you met up, or was like low-key hating, whatever, so if you have friends, pat them on the back, tell them they can do it, have faith in them. That's all it takes, really. And you'd be amazed if you tell somebody, good job, have a little faith in them, how far they can go in life. Likewise, I mean, you all know this inherently, that if you shit on someone and try to tear them down, that eventually it will work, So be good is the deal. And that's the story of the plasma table. So I'm happy that after all this time, it's been over 10 years, that the plasma table has paid for itself time and time again, and it's moving on to maybe do the same thing for somebody else. So that's great. And I hope you guys enjoyed the story. Let me know your own thoughts down in the comments. I like to think that if you put good out, that maybe good comes back. And I read a post this morning, and not trying to like beat up on anybody, because who knows how, like I said, who knows how anything's intended, but it was basically like, I used to do stuff for people. I used to jump to do stuff for people until I realized that no one jumps to do anything for me, or something like that. But the reward isn't in people. People have nothing to do with it. The reward's internal. So realize that, wrap your head around that, and you're going to be okay, homies.